Hi Archers! Around a week ago, I made a video outlining the issues and problems we had with Archero titled, How I Feel About Archero Right Now. I was hoping it would reach them somehow, and it actually did, quite faster than I expected. They replied around 3 days after the video was released. It wasn't much though, but this is what they said. Thank you for your sincere suggestions. That's pretty much it. Since then, they've released a message to us separately on Facebook that outlines some things that they're looking into and will add into the game in the future. I already made a video about that and will be linked down below if you haven't seen it. In the last video, we focused on issues and problems within the game. In this video, I'll be focusing on content and what we would like to have in the game. There are things in this video that they've already stated that they will add into the game, but I'm going to keep it in there just because I think it's really important and I want to keep everything very neatly compiled in a video for you guys. So a big issue is that Archero has been adding features and content that we haven't asked for. I would just like to add again that they've already implemented a very few things from this list already, but I won't take them out because I think it's important to have a general list of wants in this game. I encourage you to add your suggestions again in the comments down below, assuming they will read them as well. So number one, the biggest issue I think is the gold balance. There needs to be a way to get more gold or make changes on how much gold things use. Right now, gold is currently the most used currency in Archero. The gold farm seems to stay the same, but Archero keeps adding more things that still use gold without balancing it. I personally think some things should be a lot cheaper. Other things that they could do is allow players to sell their materials, so any excess sapphires, cookies, and more for gold. We have so many of some of the other things, but no gold to use them. Also, materials that we cannot use as we do not have a need for some specific ones anymore. Number 2, matchmaking, but this is now apparently being worked on. One of the most asked features is please add matchmaking so players can easily find each other and play with each other. This would encourage players to play instead of having the hassle of finding others, and sometimes they may not find anyone at all. It's not easy, you have to go through multiple different places to find one person to join you on co-op. Number 3, this is such a big one for me, and that is runes separate from talents. Runes is a feature, it should be separate. Talents are just stats. Runes do unlock more stats, but the feature itself should not be hidden by luck. I found this one to be so strange and a way to make players purchase coins because they made it so difficult to get this feature. I see so many posts of players frustrated with the fact that they've spent so much of their earned gold on talents to just unlock this feature or to not get it at all after many tries. Number 4, item events. Right now we have Flying Bullets, which is an item drop event. It's very random though, and sometimes you might just not get anything at all. However, when you do get something, you get something super random that you might not want. I feel like they should either change this or add other events that rotate with items. Here is a perfect concept made by Reddit user CQ41. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. In this concept, this event will change each day and players can choose if they want to play it or not to get that specific item. This makes farming more rewarding and have more players come back into the game checking each day to see if the item they want is there. I find this to be a fantastic idea and I'd be very happy with something like this. Number 5, change events. This is a minor one, but events should always drop something. You shouldn't have to pay 100 gems for a second attempt and get no items or no soulstones. Also, when purchasing a second attempt with gems, it should not have to use energy on top of that. Some players have also shared that events should be available every day. Number 6, specific chapter item drops. I will mention this one again because I think this is extremely game changing. Chapters should tell you what items drop here so you can choose if you want to farm it or not. Maybe each chapter has 4 different items and so on. There are 2 ways you could do this. One is having different chapters only drop weapons or armor, etc. And 2 is have chapters drop a few different items of any sort in the chapter. I personally like the second method better. For example, maybe a chapter has a ring and a weapon that I want. This would make farming much more easier for the player. Specific item drops are really important. If Archero did this, they could add more items without it flooding as much because now we know what we could possibly get. I also think Archero should add rare, epic, or legendary drops. I do think these should be like extremely rare, but it would be nice to know that there is a very tiny chance we could possibly get a rarity like this right off the bat. I feel like this would encourage players to play more as well. If this is something that Archero does not want to do, another idea a player has shared is that make item-specific drops on bosses, so you could try farming a boss over and over again for an item that you're after. Number 7, a way to trade items or buff the dismantle system. There are way too many items in the game right now and too many items that we do not use. Dismantling is not great right now, and I think something needs to be added or changed. Number 8, rework all items. So Archero has actually talked about this in their posts, saying that they're adding a feature that will help players use their unused items. I don't know exactly what that means, but that is something. So as I said earlier, reworking items so there is less useless items. Reworking items and making them useful and changing them in a way where it will bring variety to the game, where building differently for each run would be fun and it would still work out. Diverse it in a way where you may have to change gear because it'd be more useful in this chapter and so on. There could be something like this chapter has resistance to poison damage, but it takes increased fire damage. Something like that, for example. So maybe you would equip your fire gear like golden chestplate or something like that. This also brings more variety to the abilities, so you could probably pick fire abilities because the enemies are weaker to fire. Number 9, more item drop rate events for specific items. Right now, Archero sometimes does item drop events for all items. I think it would be much more better if they did it for specific items. So for example, maybe the crossbow and the bear ring have a double drop rate for the day or the weekend and so on. This again would make it much more rewarding to farm. Number 10, add stats. A player's stat page should be added where you can see your crit chance, attack speed, crit damage, and more. Number 11, practice mode / sandbox mode. They do have one for free trial right now, which is really nice, but I think they should add one in general. It's nice to be able to test things easily, and I know quite a few players in the community also like doing numbers and testing things in the game. I absolutely love reading other players' testings and results and comparing them with my own. I think the practice mode should let you test the items of damage of abilities as well. If Archero does not want to share their stats for abilities, I think making it easier for us to find out ourselves would definitely balance it out and make it much more rewarding to find out what things do. Number 12, fuse all button. This would be very useful for players, especially those who are experiencing lag. Fusing all automatically would help, as going into the inventory every time to fuse something can be a little tiring. Number 13, add a confirm purchase button. Obviously, to help avoid purchasing things accidentally, I have done it before and so have others. Number 14, make all timers the same. It should be based on day, not when you claimed it. Players shouldn't have to keep coming back into the game to claim their chests or their dailies and more at different times. Number 15, I think Battle Pass needs a rework. Right now, players have told me that they have to almost come in every single day to finish the Battle Pass, and if they miss a day, it might mean they will not complete it. Battle Pass, in my opinion, should not become a chore, but a feature that makes players happy. Players who purchase the Battle Pass should also not get any ads on anything at all for the duration. Number 16, duo mode content, which is apparently in the works at the moment. I think the duo mode is such a great mode, but it's so repetitive. They should add adventures for duos where you can complete chapters together or even farm together. Some players love playing with others, and it could make farming much more fun when you have someone to do it with. With that, a friend list would be great too, and guilds. Number 17, global and local leaderboards. Some players have a competitive drive, and maybe a leaderboard for most monsters killed or time completed in a chapter would definitely drive players to play more and be on that leaderboard. Number 18, guides in the game for content they release. I really do hope at this point they do not add any more features we do not ask for until they have at least reworked or changed the ones we have. But for runes and hero shards, there seems to be no guides on how to use them at all within the game. They just added into the game and expected players to figure it out on their own. Number 19, Devil and Will. Beating a boss without taking damage should give you the Will and the Devil. The Devil is supposed to be a reward for not taking any damage, but I do not find it rewarding, as you have to lose health for it and you might also not even want what it gives you. The Will should still be there if you beat the boss level without taking damage. Also, the heal should not give you nothing if you're full health. A good way a player has mentioned is maybe it just increases your health if you're full health, otherwise just get rid of it if you're full health. Number 20, cosmetics, apparently in the works. This right now is purely a thing for Archero and paying players. At the moment, one of the games I play literally only makes money through cosmetics. It does not affect the gameplay at all, you just look cooler. If you have multiplayer functions or just even for normal runs, I'm sure players would pay money to customize and personalize their hero's appearance. This way Archero can make money from the game without having to ruin player experience with money-grabbing features. Number 21, ability combos. A really fun way to diverse ability builds is to give some builds extra buffs. For example, all fire abilities give you increased fire elemental damage or all electrical and more. Number 22, less currencies. There are just way too many currencies to farm. Some players feel that some features should use the same currencies. This makes it much more beginner friendly. Why add cookies when we have so many sapphires that are unused? Some players feel that sapphires should be used for evolutions as well to make it much more streamlined. Number 23, weapon abilities. Piercing shot should not be an option on the ability wheel for Tornado, and this goes for any future weapons. They may share the same burden as Tornado. It should work like how the heroes work, so Helix cannot pick up Rage because he already has Rage. And that is all I've gathered so far. I've tried to compile everything as much as I could, so I hope I covered at least most things. But again, please share your suggestions down below just in case they might see it. What they do in the upcoming patches is pretty important. I love Archero, but it's just turned more into a grindy chore, and they keep adding more and more things to make it more and more grindy without balancing some things. With that, some of you may be wondering, what does that mean for this channel? I will still be making Archero content like updates and news, and will work slowly on tier lists and such, but there won't be as much content as there used to be unless they change something. I don't want to force Archero content, so it'll just be going with the flow type of deal. I am working on other projects, and I have been playing a lot of Among Us lately. Hopefully I can upload some things about that, but I am not quitting Archero unless they really just mess up the game even more. I will also be really focusing on Wild Rift content when it is released, and Pokemon Unite. I should be making more Wild Rift content in around December. That is all for today's video. I thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and click the bell for more Archero videos. Like and comment down below what your suggestions are. I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye!